is to the land. People are saying the woman is damned. Mr. Bird with a wave of the hand. Cities ablaze, the stars on fire. Woman's flames are reaching higher. We were fools, we called a liar. He is burned. Didn't believe the war devil sperm. She said, curse the war, you'll never learn. When I leave, there's no return. The people laughed, so she said, burn. Warning came, no one came. The shaking was stood instead. When it came, no one was spared. Still you. That was the title of the new album. It's called Burn.
It'd be silly if we started suddenly writing like the Eagles, because they do it better. But we do Deep Purple better than the Eagles
Well,
would.
David's singing like Joni Mitchell. It's silly. You do what you're good at.
Yeah, we have limitations which you accept.
What comes out is a conglomeration of 5 people's ideas and the way they play. You are what the audience make you. It's no good saying. It's no good saying you're a serious musician and everybody starts laughing at you. You know.
They're right. Exactly.
You know, if you do what you do to the best of your ability, then the audience puts you into a category. You don't. They make you. They say, well, these are now a heavy rock band. This is a nice folk band. You don't say that. You know, you're too inside it. You can't say anything.
You have a reputation for being the loudest band in the world. Are you happy with this?
No.
You're not happy with it?
It's wrong. There's so many other bands that play loud all the time, whereas we use a lot of light and shade in the music. When it's quiet, it's quiet. When it's loud, it's loud. There's various other bands I could mention that just continue to play loud all the time.
Ian Campbell folk group.
Well, they're loud.
We're just the loudest one they ever measured. That's all.
Yeah, really. I mean, you know, they never measured anybody else to that extent. And
nothing to be proud of.
It's nothing to do with aggression. You want to present an aggressive image.
oh, well, we certainly would like to be. We like to think of ourselves as a vaguely aggressive band. I mean, we're not that interested in being anything else.
In terms of
Fighting
and seat smashing and...
no, that's gratuitous.
We're not aggressive.
That's gratuitous.
Shame.
I mean, and that doesn't come from the band. The band doesn't actually encourage that. It might invoke it.
Occasionally you smash equipment, I understand.
What's better than I'm smashing the wife? Seriously, I mean, if I feel that, you know, I want to get me yayas out. No, it's a great way of doing it.
Sometimes when you do a show and that doesn't happen, then you leave the people with a load of built-in tensions which haven't been released because they've been taken up and nothing's quite burst them. And if somebody just goes ahead and gets completely destructive, then that's it. Somebody's broken the bag for them and it all goes away.
In fact,
We did one gig in the States. We started Mistreated, which is a track on Burn, and he didn't get the he just couldn't get the sound he wanted, you know, from it. It was a new instrument, so he just smashed it to pieces.
He broke 3 guitars in one gig in Washington on his last tour in the States. I couldn't believe it. I just wept.
The whole essence, though, of going to a rock concert is for the release of it, the emotional release. You know?
yeah, it's like, I mean, if you take any rock concert, right, at the beginning of the evening, it's a potentially it's a potentially violent situation, if you think about it. There's 2, 3, 4, 10, 12, 20,000 people, whatever the size of the venue is, who are all like, you know,
Why are they like that?
because they're excited about what they're going to see. Because presumably, well, particularly in a smaller venue, let us say, most of the people there are there because they are fans of yours.
So it's cathartic, is this violence? They're not going to imitate it.
I wasn't going to use the word catharsis because I hate intellectualizing on that level. I don't think it's quite... nothing against the way you put it, but I think it's a very simple situation of...
A lot of very excited people all together.
You need to be entertained and released and sent home happy.
The release you can get is like the physical release, which I think is what we promote. Physical release. I'll put it there. All right. An acoustic thing is purely a nice evening, you know, like happy feelings and things like that. There is a certain aggression.
You can draw parallels in other kinds of entertainment or art. I mean, you get a very different feeling from looking at one of those Renaissance paintings of Madonna with child than you do from looking at what's his name, Francis Bacon or something, you know, with the screaming Pope or something, a great sort of screaming face. That's a tense picture, right? Whereas or the Mona Lisa, let's say, you know, is a very serene picture. So I mean, contrast has to exist in all forms of entertainment or art or whatever you get.
You're the Francis Bacon band.
Much more than, much more than the Leno eventually.
Good night, God bless you all.
No, it turns me on that. It's the thing. I love it.
I turned around, I saw Richie throw his guitar up and you kick your drums to pieces, and I thought, I can't sacrifice a mic. And I thought, I'll kick the monitors off, you know. And I thought, can I afford it? I'll go off.
Remember, I've got 8 mics on.
I threw a ring on the floor and jumped on it. You know.
Crushed to grey.
I just put my beer down. I put my beer down and it's gone.
Sure. Do you want a cigarette, Johnny?
We got the impression out there that you enjoyed that one.
I had a good time, yes. I could have done with another hour.
You could have danced all night, Bill. Drum roll.
Too busy talking.
One of my sons here, there.
Hello. You ready? Give me a drum roll. Give me a drum roll. All I need is a drum roll.
Jake.
Pubic hair. Sorry. Didn't say a word. Did not.
Carmen. It's Carmen Peters.
See, I have my own dressing room because I like to tune up and I like my solitude before I go on stage. I tend not to get too involved in people because, to be quite honest, I find a lot of people are boring. I find myself boring most of the time. I don't like to be caught up. I always like to be the opposite. I always was at school. That's why I don't smoke. I used to find everybody at school smoking, you know. Oh, it's a big deal, man. Smoke, you know, rebellious image. Like, I thought, well, because of that, I won't smoke, and I never have, you know. Maybe if they hadn't smoked, I would have done, you know. Yeah. Mind you, I was probably doing other things which were just as bad, if not worse, you know. I'm still very moody, shy, and very honest, which a lot of people can't take, you know. Honest? Yeah. And which is the hardest thing in this business is to is sincerity. Once you can fake that, you're laughing, you know. We're not brilliant songwriters, you know. I write most of the stuff, but I think some of it stinks, you know. We only get away with it because we're so good musically, you know. In fact, I wish some people would come forward and write songs for us, because we need it. But there are times when I feel like just saying, oh, let's forget it, you know, let's all go home, and we've all got enough money to just say, well, I'll do another LP when I feel like doing it. Because really, that's what every group should do. But every group is pressured by the record company. It's only guarding their own interests. A group only lasts a certain length of time, so they get the most out of them. It doesn't matter whether they fold up in 5 years, as long as they've made about 10 LPs in the meantime. Whereas in actual fact, to get the best out of a group, you've got to give them a year for each LP, I would think, for an actual progression without forcing it. And that really bugs me, actually, going to the studio. Right, we're going to turn out an LP, boys, you know, here we go, blah, blah, blah. I've got to write a song today, you know. It's just ridiculous, you know. Yeah. And I don't know if I've got the guts to do it, but I've often thought, that's it. I'd like to leave, not the band, I just want to get out of the business, play when I feel like playing, and do a record when I feel like recording. It would be fantastic, but you can't have it all your own way, you know.
In terms of like longevity, this job comes last. Yeah, it comes last. You're given probably anywhere between 2 and 10 years, I would say, at the maximum, right? To make your...
You've had 6.
We've had 6, yeah. But out of the 6, I would say 3 have been financially excellent. The other 3 were
getting out of debt.
Getting out of debt. Yeah, exactly. The debt that it costs to start this band. We started this band with one main idea and ideal, and that was that everything we did would be, by our lights, excellent. I think you know, the justification for what you do always comes from the amount of success what you do has, providing we keep ourselves together and we believe in what we do. We've never been great lyricists, and we don't write sort of fantastic melodies and tunes, you know, except for Child in Time, which is quite a pretty tune. I mean, there's not that many pretty tunes,
Is that something you regret?
No, not particularly. Yeah, I regret it to the extent that if we could find a really great melody that would fit in with the way we play and the way we want to play, then fair enough.
You'd obviously use it.
You'd use it, you know, like a shop. But we're more of a... we don't construct our songs like, say, Rodgers and Hart used to, you know, or Lennon and McCartney, even. They're sort of amalgams of what everyone is able to...
From a certain basic idea.
Ian might come up with a sort of a drum rhythm. Well, he came up with a drum pattern... You Fall No One, it's opening track on side 2 of Burn. Came purely and simply, initially, from a drum rhythm that Ian thought up.
Whereby Might Just Take Your Life came from an organ chord sequence that John had. So you start with the basic, simple little idea, then you get 5 minds saying, well, I think this would fit with that. That's what we do.
You know, but
that's maybe why they're not too melodic, they're not too lyrical.
We're a rock band. I mean, I don't like the term hard rock. I don't like the term heavy metal. You know, I'd like to think of ourselves as a rock and roll band. Burn, Machine Head, in rock seem to centre around a specific kind of theme. Not even a theme you can put into words. But they hang together. You know it's part of that album, and it feels part of that album. And you can play the album from A to Z. Without thinking, oh, that sticks out like a sore thumb.
Do you see a progression in your album career?
It's sort of gone like that, you know, to us. We've gone up and then taken 1 step back, then 3 steps, then 1 back, you know, in terms of the albums.
Can you talk about your fairy tale discovery?
Yeah. With the accent on fairy.
I've always wanted to get on, you know. And I auditioned Deep Purple last year in August. No, it was...
Presumably you're nearer normality than them. I mean, they've been living in this fantasy world so many years. Presumably the contrast between...
I've always had the fantasy there, you know.
Sorry?
I've always wanted, I've known what it was about, you know. I just wanted to, instead of standing outside the door, I wanted to get in, you know.
And you're happy now you're there?
Very happy, yeah, right.
What's it like being a superstar? Carrying around this sort of envelope of fame and...
Well, it's very, very strange, actually. The only real, as far as I'm concerned, the only real superstars, to use the term properly, are the people that would gain instant recognition in any town, in any country where their music or their films, whatever, have been seen or heard. Rock musicians don't actually come in for that kind of recognition outside the sphere of being in a concert hall and its environs.
People can now say to me, what's it like to be a superstar? And I say, pardon? Because I'm still playing the same as I did before, but it's like changing a job. It's like anyone changing a job. I'm playing with better people. The money side is there. I mean, financially it's fine, but it's a change of job. And to be called a superstar just because you've changed your job or firm, as Ian put it, is just stupid to me.
I just can't.
It must have altered your lives. Oh, you don't eat fish and chips now. You presumably go for...
Do it for fancy. Do it for fancy.
You might have the wrong idea.
If you don't want to eat fish and chips, you can afford not to eat fish and chips.
That's the only. All it is choice.
We don't walk around with hand mirrors, you know, like sort of admiring ourselves all the time, you know. Like, as Ian puts it, once the job is over for that particular night, you go home or you leave, and once you're out of the surrounding area, honestly, hardly anybody would recognise you unless they have to be a fan of yours and have pictures of you at home or something. Or your uncle. I mean, like.
Is that failure?
No, it's because.
I'd rather be recognised musically than as a face.
It's an insulated world, rock and roll, you know. I mean, it doesn't actually get to Mrs. Hodgkins at number 43, you know. It gets to her daughter, maybe, or her son. Actually, I'd like to get to Mrs. Hodgkins' daughter. She's all right.
Paul McCartney's discovery.
Yeah, that's right. Very Hodgkins. Do you see what I'm trying to say? It's very insulated. And if it does happen in the street, if some Joe Boggs comes up to me in the street and asks for my autograph, of course I'm knocked out. I love it. It's a great feeling.
But you give up such a lot, you know. You give up such a lot when you're doing this. Time. That's what you give up. You know, for an hour and a half you get on stage, you're probably spending 2 or 3 days, you know, away from your home life. Your social life gets screwed right up because you're pissing off to different countries every month or so. And that's a huge thing to give up. That freedom to say, I think I'll go to the pictures tonight, because you can't, because you know tomorrow you'll be playing 1,000 miles away, you've got to get a plane.
Now you may say, quite rightly, that you'd give up that freedom for the amount of money involved.
Right then, yeah.
And that's exactly what I'd say. Yeah. Which is why I'm doing it. Could you pass me that bottle of marvellous stuff?
Is it hard work doing all that drumming behind such a loud band? Not tonight.
Physically it's quite demanding. The hardest thing is keeping the sweat out of my eyes, believe it or not. That's the hardest thing. It's fun, but it's not that difficult, other than if you're not feeling like 100%, it can get a bit tiring after half an hour.
Well, if you're not feeling 100%, what makes it hard is trying to make yourself feel 100%. Because
you know you should be playing better.
Because really, I don't want to sound twee or anything, or trite. Oh, it will, but it's not intended to. You do seriously feel an immense necessity to be good. And it stems from the fact that you are being paid by a lot of people to excel and to excite them. And if you know you're not doing it, I get so brought down. You know, it's amazing how just doomy you can get. You can walk off stage and literally be in tears.
Getting back to the studio thing, why we're probably a little bit on the subdued side on record is because when you're recording, you find that there's one engineer and a couple of T-boys around, and it doesn't really inspire you to turn out your best. Whereas when you're on stage, you're playing to the people, and they inspire you. Obviously, you know. I suppose it's an ego thing, really. You like to kind of basically show them what you know, and you get really inspired. You get a real exciting thing going with the crowd because they just turn you on.
We don't have many bad nights. In fact, since we've started, we've got on 3 fingers. We've had maybe 3 bad nights. I mean, we do have a bad night. We don't fight. We just walk off, and we don't speak to each other. And the next day, we go on stage. It's like that. We don't ever argue intensely. When we criticise each other, it's always polite criticism.
Yeah, you're
never...
shit, man.
It's necessary to... necessary to respect each other. It's immensely necessary. Bands have broken up through lack of respect.
We spent time together socially.
This band more than this combination of Deep Purple more than any other combination. Yes.
Better than I have, I think.
Can't help.
I spent more time with Glenn since he's been in the band than I spent with Roger in 2 years. The band has existed. I mean, Richie, Ian, and myself have been together since the end of 1967.
Your Thus Spake Zarathustra seems to bring a cheer. As that proves that you're a better musician when you're playing when you're playing Richard Strauss than you are when you're playing John Lord.
Well, that comes from them, then, because I don't think that.
That's just a chance tonight.
I mean, maybe you should ask a member of the audience that. I mean, I don't know. It's recognition, if you like. I mean, it's recognising a familiar thing. I put it in there because I think it works there. I love playing it as well. It's gas to play.
Works with the idea of that particular song.
I mean, the songs.
There's a space song.
There's a link. I mean, it's a tenuous.
No one thinks of it as Strauss. They think immediately 2001.
I suspected that one could prove that one was a good musician to the audience by playing classical music.
No, in actual fact, I think I could prove it better by improvising on the chord of G with him in the background. I think I could prove I'm a musician. That's what I was up there for, but I'm not up there for that. I'm not there to prove I'm a good musician. I'm up there because, well, all sorts of things, but not that. One is because it's my job. 2 is because I love it. And 3 is because I can't do anything else.
You've done some things individually, haven't you?
They are totally individual projects.
They're a completely separate activity.
It's like hobby. You know, you've got to have something extracurricular that turns you on. Well, I have to.
And this is a job. That's a hobby.
It's not quite as bold as that, but it's close. It's close. Yeah, it is a job.
Well, that sounds like you're not totally happy with the things that you do.
Oh no, there's no. Just because you call it a job doesn't mean to say you don't have to be happy with it. There are men that love being centre lathe turners. In purely semantically, you know, like out of the Oxford English Dictionary, you'd say that a painter, it was his job, right? A job is merely a word to describe what you do for your living, isn't it?
Yes, but it has the overtone.
It has the connotations of yeah.
What I'm doing it for is to have enough money to do the things that I really like doing.
Every job has its Monday morning, you know, and ours just happens to come on Saturday night, that's all.
you. Thank you for coming to see us. Thanks for coming. Thank you very much indeed. We'll see you very soon. Take care.
Do you think you've made a contribution to musical history?
Not musical history, no. I've made a contribution to social history, probably. One which will be forgotten not long after the band breaks up. But that's modern times, isn't it? I mean, certain people will remember us, you know, like I said, they say, oh yeah, I remember when I was 15 I used to be a Deep Purple fan, or when I was 21 I used to be a Deep Purple fan, or whatever. It's a history of 10 years, which will last 10 years, and that's it.